Hi guys, hope you're well. So got a great interview coming up with Ray Bishop. Now this man really is the real deal. He was once Britain's most wanted man and went to 31 prisons. Ex-armed robber, but has now turned his life fully around and is a very successful man. He's funny, interesting, and he tells a brutal story. So here he is, Ray Bishop. So hi folks, got an absolutely fantastic guest here today, Ray Bishop, here with the Brendan McGirr, the expert that you are, Brendan. Nice to see Ray, isn't it?
Listen, it's a pleasure to see Ray. I feel honoured that he's given us this bit of time because this man has a proper story to tell. A proper story. And look at how polite and humble he is with it. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to get through a few bits and find out the highs and lows of it, because there's always highs and lows in these stories, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Ray's turned his life completely around. Very successful businessman now. Going to be married soon.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Yes.
Look, can't wait.
Can't wait. Can we, dear? Love you.
But
I'm getting married in July, so I know the feeling, mate.
You're competing with each
I'm
other.
looking. I'll tell you what it's like. And you...
Well, hang on a minute. He's getting married before me. Maybe we can borrow his cutlery, save a few quid.
It's yours.
Absolutely. 31 prisons, Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done the entire tour. So, I mean, I know with a lot of these podcasts, they go back to the beginning and all that, but I mean, let's talk about the prisons. I mean, how horrific. What was the worst?
Well, first and foremost, let me open with this. Right, reason I do this, doing it with you, Liam, I have a lot of respect for you, and you too, Brendan. Utmost respect. I think how you carried yourself in the wake of the tragedy.
Thank you.
I thought nothing short of honourable, and I've been in a similar situation like I explained. And the reason I do these is I like to carry a message that there's life beyond that life, and it is possible for lepers to change their spots. You know, I lived that life. I don't talk bollocks. How do I know I've done 31 prisons? Because I was privileged enough to write my autobiography that was published by Virgin, and so I went right the way through. What were the worst prisons? Do you know what? I've done maximum security prisons, the Long Lartins, the Belmarsh. I've been in a secure unit. But I would say the worst prisons is when they, for people like me, I'm a Londoner, through and through, Ben. And when they stick you right up north, or they stick you right down the fucking West Country or somewhere like that, where you're out of your comfort zone, you don't know a lot of people, and they move you there as a control measure when you're playing up or you're a bit of a pest, or sometimes just because of overcrowding. One of the worst places, I think Exeter was an absolute shit pit. I ended up in the block there. I actually smashed the block up in Exeter prison. I booted the phone off the wall. I not giving it a big iron, but I chinned the fella behind the server.
You made your feelings known that you weren't
I made my feelings known. I didn't like it, and that was a shit pit. Another one that was an absolute shit pit, Wormwood Scrubs in the 90s. Sea Wing, it was the largest prison in Europe. And back then, Sea Wing, Wormwood Scrubs, it was an hard one. It was an hard jail. Wandsworth, absolute fucking shit pit in the 90s. Screws jail, POA stronghold, absolute bullies. You had they were all like ex-military, you know, badges. Used to go up to lunchtime, go and have a drink, come back in the afternoon, bully prisoners. That was an horrible prison. Also, some of the young offender institutions I've done, you know, I was lucky. I went through this shit when I was a kid as well, you know, great criminal that I fucking was. But Rochester was a terrible place. Used to be a ball stall, but then it ended up as a YP, and I was in there just after it changed from a ball stall. But the only thing that had changed was the name. None of the prison officers had changed, so what had changed? The fucking name. They rebranded it like Strangeways after the riot. I know what we'll do. We'll call it HMP Manchester. Like it's there you go. All the history's gone. The history's still there. That was a brutal place. Feltham was a tough place when I was a kid. You know, it was a lot of gangs and violence and so I think in terms of the actual cons, the hardcore cons that you could say you were amongst dangerous people, I would probably say Long Lartin, which is a category A jail up in Worcestershire. I spent 3.5 years there. That was a hard jail because you knew you were around nutters.
What's it like being around those sort of psychopaths that can kick off at any moment? Are you always alert all the time?
I've been very fortunate, you know, and again, I'm not getting the big I am. I'm no one. But I carry myself well. I don't give it the big I am. I don't give it the large, but I was capable of doing whatever I had to fucking do. And that means...
I'd like to add there, Ray, but anyone like yourself, and been around Dave and a lot of people for many years, any people who can carry themselves, who are confident inside and are fully aware of what they're capable of, never gives it the big iron.
No.
And that makes people more wary that you're confident.
Well,
and, in them places, Ray, you've actually carried that confidence and was more than capable of jumping in and having it when you fancied it.
And there were times when I did. Times when I had to. Yeah. You know, we were all tooled up in there. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah.
In a jail like that, you are tooled up and you've got tools plotted.
Yeah.
And you got pals, you make alliances and whatever else. And because there's a lot of cranks walking about. And I don't talk about cranks, I'm talking about people like Colin Island. When I got there, one of the first people I met was the fucking serial killer, Colin Island. Wow. And anyone wants to, if you want to know about an intimidating person, the most scary person I've ever met in my life, Colin Island. Really? Yeah. And most people will tell you that who knew Colin Island. He was about 6'4", 6'5". He weighed 20 odd stone. He had fucking hands like shovels. And he just looked at you like he wanted to fucking kill you. You know? That's how he looked at you, like he wanted to kill you.
Could you go up and speak to him?
Yeah, you could speak to him. You was always fucking weary of him. He's one of them people, you wouldn't want to turn your back on him because you never knew. Some people can turn, they'll kill you like that. I've met people like that in prison, you know, Victor Castellado and these people will kill you like that. And Victor killed someone again in prison. Colin Island, you know, if he hadn't have died in prison, it wouldn't surprise me if he had have strangled someone. He was just... You know when some... Well, yeah, I just spice up the Sunday. But these people are fucking dangerous. Colin Island, my friend Steady, he's a good friend of mine who's been released now. He was serving a life sentence, served 30 years. He shot a security guard dead on a security van robbery. Didn't actually mean it, had a lot of remorse, gun went off accidentally. You know, I'm not making it right, but that's what happened. He said to Colin Island one day, he said, "What do you regret about that?" And apparently, when he killed one of his victims, he nailed the fella's cat above his door. And Steady said to him, "Do you regret any of it?" He went, "Yeah, I regret the cat." And he meant it. That's what he fucking... That's the sort of people you're up against. I was in this Special Care and Control Unit and a new segregation in Long Lartin. They've got a section of there what's called the Special Care and Control Unit. I ended up there because of a couple of violent assaults when I'd got moved from Long Lartin to a therapeutic jail and I assaulted 2 prisoners. I ended up in the segregation special care and control unit. I was next door to Bob Maudsley. I don't know if you know Bob Maudsley.
He's the cannibal guy.
Bob Maudsley killed 3 people. Yes. It's bollocks when they say he was eating their brains. And all bollocks. He, you know, they say that to sort of thing in. No, he just killed 3 fucking wrong uns effectively. But he killed 1 in Broadmoor. He killed 2 in Wakefield. And the way he done it is he planned it. He went in, killed them both, put them under their beds. And he went down to the office and said to the... screws on duty that day, there'll be 2 off this morning. And they thought, what's he fucking on about? And they went up and he killed 2 fucking prisoners.
Wow.
You know?
That's calculated,
you know,
isn't it? Yeah.
He's been in segregation since like the 1970s, you know?
So nobody can come in and see him at all?
No. Very quietly spoken Scouser. Very well educated man. I used to send him books. When I actually got out of the segregation unit, I had a rapport with the librarian in Long Lartin, and I used to say to her, "Send Bob down some books." And he likes things like French fucking battlefield history, Napoleonic Wars and all this stuff. Very well-read man, very quietly, softly spoken. And where we was all down the segregation, we faced the sports field. So on a weekend, then you'd be out there playing football, people out there playing football, and it's noisy or whatever else. We'd be shouting out the window, and Bob would say, "Ray, could you just keep your noise down a bit?" And you go, "No problem, Bob," because just in case it can fucking eat you through the wall or something, or fucking screw opens your door one day and says, "Here, Bob wants a fucking word with you." It's like, "You all right, Bob?" "Yeah, no problem, Bob."
Didn't celebrate when you scored,
In my world, listen, where I come from, he killed 3 fucking nonces. Deserves a fucking medal. Don't mean it horribly, but deserves a fucking medal.
Absolutely.
But he'll never be released. He'll never be released.
Were you 1 step from Broadmoor?
Well, what had happened is I'd gone from Long Lartin. What had happened, I had a bit of a checkered history, like a few violent outbursts and whatever else. And they moved me to a therapeutic prison. What happened is in early 2000s, something came out called the Dangerous Offenders Act. And what that was the Home Secretary at the time said, too many people being released from prison, high security prisons and whatever else, reoffending. There'd been like a few people who'd been released, gone on to commit murder and blah, blah, blah. So what they wanted to do is assess everyone, especially everyone in the dispersal prison. So they brought in the usual, the psychology teams, you know, the over fucking educated, under intelligent in a lot of cases, because they can easily be manipulated.
People,
They can easily be manipulated, and they are.
Yeah.
Look at this, like this, excuse my language, Colin Pitchfork and people like that, to be fucking released after you raped and murdered 2 girls. You want to release these, but you don't want to release someone like Charlie Bronson. You know, that's my take on some of these people. But cut a long story short, I went up to this Dovegate, which was a new therapeutic jail. Now, it took me off the Category A list. I thought, well, this is a way off the Category A list. So I thought, I'll come off the Cat A list, work my ticket a bit, get to a B Cat jail. So that was my thinking. And anyway, it was up in Staffordshire, right next door to Alton Towers. And when you was on exercise, you could hear people screaming on the fucking... You know, I've got 10 years left to serve. You've got people screaming on the fucking roller coaster sound. For fuck's sake, of all the places to be. And over the right-hand side, because you know they build prisons where there's cheap shit fucking Bernard Matthews turkey farm, so it fucking stunk and all. So I weren't happy. But anyway, I was up there with some good lads from Liverpool. You know, the Liverpool lads, fucking staunch as fuck. They're just like Londoners, and the Londoners and the Liverpool lads in jail usually get on fucking like house on fire. Same with the Manchester fellas. And there was a load of them up there, and there was some good fellas I met from up Leeds. We was all having it together. Particular fellow I know was getting some bits sent in the post. You do what you do to make it as easy as you can. He had a bench screw. We was getting bits of puff sent in big biros, and he was putting, and it was going to the sensors, and the screw was diverted before it went to the sensor, so we were getting the parcels. Anyway, this one wrong 'un grassed us up, because it's like a therapeutically community, and you're supposed to be working on your offending and all that, which I weren't ready to do, really. I was working my ticket, if I'm to be honest, at this point. He's grassed us up. Now, my mate Paul from Coventry, it's on him, you know, he's already doing 18 year. And I said to Paul, he's got to go. And Paul went, well, I can't really. I said, don't worry, I'll do it. So anyway, cut a long story short, I went down for dinner one day. I had the ump of being up there, and a honey jar accidentally slipped out of my hand onto his head. And
it always slips, honey.
It was very slippery. Anyway, it slipped onto his head, and his mate
nutted it.
Yeah, his mate come running over, and I sort of accidentally hit him in the head with a fucking table tennis bat, and you know, before you know it, I'm nicked. I'm back in segregation, and I'll tell you what happened, because this is why I say not all old Bill are bad. North Derbyshire Police have come to interview me in the segregation in Dovegate. Now I'm in the seg. They've come to interview me. They've gone. One cop has looked around the door like that. He's gone. If you say he come to hit you and you raised your honey jar, you'll never hear nothing more about it, because it turns out the fucking geezer I'd done was a fucking wrong 'un. He'd been done for flashing at schoolgirls and everything in his past. This all come out like I didn't know that. But anyway, this come out. So the coppers went, fuck him. They're not interested. You can kill each other. But if you turn on the screws or whatever, then it's a different story. So cut a long story short, it didn't end well for me. It ended well where I wasn't going to get done again, because there was a 2-strike life rule at the time, another violent offence. I would have been lifed off, because it was Section 18, one Section 18, ABH, that's what they were talking about. Cut a long story short, put me back on the Cat A list, moved me back to Long Lartin. So I'm back in Long Lartin, and that's where they put me straight into segregation. Next to fucking Maudsley in the end of the security care and control unit. So I spent another 5 weeks in the seg at Long Lartin, because I've been moved to a therapeutic jail, and it ain't ended up well, has it? So I'm in segregation in Long Lartin. They think I'm fucking nuts, you know. I've escaped from prison by taking 2 prison officers hostage with a fucking big biro filled with jam at the start of my sentence. I've been suspected of a few assaults, and another potential escape attempt, blah, blah. I've just done this, I've got out of it or whatever.
You just misunderstood.
Yeah, so now they've come to assess me again, because they've assessed me to go to therapy, and this time I've got 2 psychiatrists come to assess me. I'm thinking, why psychiatrists and not psychologists? It's psychiatrists now. Anyway, they're looking at me like this, and I thought, I don't like the look at this. And he looks like Imagine a psychiatrist who looks like fucking, what's his name? Christie, the murderer or something. Tash, bald head, round spectacles. Looks the part. Most of them psychiatrists are fucking nuts themselves to do.
A bit strange,
They're all a bit odd. But anyway, he tapped the pen on the side like that and he said, signature from me, signature from him, you're off to Broadmoor. And I thought, don't fancy that. Don't fancy that, because we all know what Broadmoor is. And but that's where's there left to go? When you're in a category A jail, you can only be downgraded if the risk is lessened, like to a B-cat.
What they were saying to you there, Ray, was like, look, you're right on the limit here. We can't handle you. Right? So the only other way we're going to put in Broadmoor a bit of liquid kosh if you're not careful.
Well, there's that, because
you know what I mean? That's probably what they were trying to say to you there, isn't it?
I think I'd pissed them off a bit because me, Steady and Geezer J had decorated the fucking wing few months before and all, now give us a job painting, so we fucking slung the paint everywhere. But that was
so tell us, because people may not know all the background. You were like Britain's most wanted man at one point for smuggling people in from
what
France,
happened,
wasn't it?
Yeah, what happened with that? I was involved in a lot of organised crime at the time. I'm not giving it the big eye. I'm really not.
That's just the life how it was.
I was used and abused. I had a drug problem at the time, and I got involved with a firm that were involved in the continent with some fucking heavy firms like Russians and whatever else. And I got involved in a bit of smuggling a bit of puff and whatever else. And then next thing you know is I go out to Vermars, supposed to be a puff deal. I drive a lorry from Vermars to, which is on the outskirts of Paris. I drive this truck up to a place called Coquel. I don't know. There's 30 fucking people in the back. Eastern Europeans. No, I didn't fucking know. I genuinely didn't know. How would I? It was a box fit. I didn't know. And what was going to happen is someone was coming over to drive it, but it was already on us. This all come out afterwards. We was under surveillance from the off. They was under surveillance there, and the reason I know this is they'd done a thing because I wanted, when I was initially nicked, I genuinely didn't know. I thought I got an out here. I'm nicked by myself. No one's nicked with me, which is immediately suspicious because we was under Robbo, and I know that because they brought up a thing they said about Vermars, and I thought, how the fuck would you know that? How would you know where we come from unless you'd been watching us or whatever? But cut a long story short, I thought, well, I know what I can do here. I can plead duress and say that I was brought from England and this firm fucking made just it. Listen,
whatever you could do at the
like
time.
Shaggy, innit?
It
wasn't me. It wasn't me. Caught me red-handed. Wasn't me.
Me on the lying eyes.
I wouldn't grass anyone up, including myself. You know what I mean? So I thought, well, there's got to be an out. So we asked for can we have the surveillance and what? PII'd it. I don't know if you know what that means. PII, public immunity, some other thing, and it's no material to be disclosed to the defence. So basically, I would have nothing to substantiate anything. So that's when I knew straight away this. I believe security services. That's what I believe. So I ended up getting done by myself for being not really concerned with the legal facilitation of people, 30 people. I got 10 years for that. £60,000 fucking fine and all.
You escaped though.
Then what I've done. I've been arrested in France, now illegally deported by British Customs. And I say this to people go, oh fucking hell. Let me tell you something, I was fucking kidnapped by British Customs. Even my barrister said they had no right to do that. They came over. Do it. Well, I was nicked in France. Anyway, they've come over the British Customs, because it's part of this big fucking ongoing operation, whatever, and said to me, well, we need to take you to a hospital to make sure you're fit for interview. We're genuinely concerned for you. All that bollocks. So I thought, well, I can't fucking say no, this is the protocol, whatever. They've put me in this fucking people carrier, drove me into the UK control zone, and when you're now in British territory, you're under arrest. I was like, hang on a minute, I didn't even fucking commit. So I should have been tried in France, but the reason they'd done that, it brought me back here, because they thought, well, if we bring him back here, maybe he'll cooperate with us. And they tried it. They tried, who was you working with? Well, how many times have you done this and all that? Because this was before the days of open borders. This wasn't like the refugees. This was Eastern Europeans. This was from Belarus and places like that. So they was there. And after, listen, I ain't figuring out, we'll have the lot then. So I thought, well, I'm in banging trouble here. They put me in Canterbury prison first of all. And I thought, fuck this, I'm getting out of here. You know, I know I'm in trouble. I thought I would get out.
Can't get any worse.
Oh, so I thought, as like you do, how can I make this fucking worse for myself? Do you know what I mean? So I've made I've got a big biro. I filled it up with blackcurrant jam, put a paper clip in the end, cheeked it as I've gone out of the jail to court that morning, about after I've been on remand a couple of weeks, and when I've got to Folkestone Court, I've grabbed the screw, put it to his neck, and made his pal open the door. You know, I've imprisoned the old courtroom. They tried to do me for 23 false imprisonments. Everyone in the fucking court. So anyway, I've managed to escape, got away. The Britain's most wanted man. But listen, I weren't fucking Raoul Moat or one of them. It was just that when the book come out, Virgin sensationalised it. I was the most wanted man then.
On that day and a few weeks round.
What's it like being on the run? I mean,
fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible because, listen, this is where I'm going to be brutally honest, that crime don't fucking pay. I'm not glamorising it or anything. I had fuck all. You know, I was supposed to be paid for doing that thing. I wouldn't have been involved in it if I'd have had bags of money in the first place. I'd been used and set up, I believe. So I didn't have bags of money. So it was inevitable I was either going to have to go and do a bit of work. You know, get a bit of help off a few of the chaps, which I did. Yeah. You know, which I did. And I know Dave won't mind me saying this. No. Dave was one of the people who gave me a bit of help.
Yeah,
Dave Courtney.
Yeah, he would.
When he had the album, and I went to see Dave after cut. Dave gave me a few quid, and I told you about the Grammar Charlie and the lottery. He gave me a Grammar Charlie and a lottery ticket, and he said, "You never know, your luck might change." But there you go. But yeah, so I didn't have big bags of money. There was no, I'm off to fucking Spain to be with the chaps and live on the Costa del Sol.
Like that, is it?
I fuck all. So I had to scurry about or whatever. One of my pals give me his Bird's Flats. You weren't living there in Lewisham, which anyone who don't know, I'm from fucking Woolwich. Lewisham's 2 miles up the road, so I'm hardly. I nicked a pair of fucking glasses out of Specsavers. He worked with Clark Kent. So I'm walking about basically, it's only a matter of time before I get nicked. I survived for like a month, 2 months. But in that time I was on my toes, mate. I knew it was on me.
Pressure though, isn't it?
Armed police went through my mum's door. I had the threat of them fucking thinking, they're going to shoot me. Because they told me they were going to shoot me before, you know, old Bill. And they fucking meant it. A particular cop, action man from our area, Jack, firearms officer, when we was active doing all sorts of mad fucking kamikaze bits of work and that, he said, I'm going to shoot you. And he even told my fucking son that. When my son was this eye, he told my son, I'm going to shoot your dad. That's a fucking horrible thing to say. But he didn't. But cut a long story short, that being on the run, it's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, ain't it? It's hard work.
And I
How
knew.
did they get you then? Did they just turn up or a tip off? Or
I think I was grassed up. Whoever it was done me a favour because I came into Woolwich, my home area, one day. But I come in to go to someone's house, and anyway, by the time I see a police car go past slowly, I knew it was on me. And then within 5-10 minutes, it was fucking police vans, police cars. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They nicked me. And
do you try and escape, or is there no chance of getting away?
Listen, when they turn up and they're fucking firearms units, don't run. Listen, they shot my fucking mate in the back when he turned to run. Yes. You know, when we were kids, you know, God bless them, you know, two people from our area got shot dead at the abattoir. They'll fucking shoot you. If they want to shoot you, they'll fucking shoot you. They were brutal at the
abattoir,
mate.
So it's a bit of a myth that the police are not going to shoot and they just don't put their hands up and all that.
Do you believe they shout a fucking warning? Do you believe that? If people believe that, listen, it looks good on Prime Suspects and all these TV programmes. Let me tell you something. If they can fucking pop you and, you know, all right, nowadays a little bit, they've got body cameras and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, you've got to say to yourself on certain things, like in the abattoir, one copper done all the shooting and there was a fucking sea of armed police. You know, it's fucking executions. And that's what they do. And my mate Dave Ewing, when they killed him in fucking Barnes, they jumped on the windscreen, shot him through the fucking windscreen. You know, it goes on. It goes on. And in some respects, for me, if I'd have been shot on a bit of work or something like that, it goes with the territory.
It's part of the job. It is once you in that world. That is
you've got to
expect it. It's not like if you start screaming about it afterwards, you know the risks when you're going into it, don't you? You know what I mean?
You do.
And you know, and people in that era knew that it weren't like on the telly, and all they've got to do afterwards go, they was in fear of their life, and they're covered.
Listen, the minute you've got firearms, you live by the gun, expect the gun.
Die by it.
You know, you live by the knife, expect the knife. It goes with it. It's, you know, I couldn't have cried if they'd have fucking shot me. But
your background, though, so for people who don't know, you was mainly armed robbery, wasn't it? Was that?
Do you know what? I was very much a fucking opportunist. I've been involved in everything from as a kid, you know.
An optimist.
Yeah. And you know what? I wasn't very fucking good at it because I had a superpower. I was very good at getting nicked. You know, I'd have a good run, but I'd always get fucking nicked eventually, like you always do.
Everyone does.
In all my time in that life, the criminality, I've never met many winners, and that's me being honest, Brendan. Everyone's had a price to pay, be it even the ones who ain't been nicked or whatever, they can't sleep at night, they're stressed to fuck. You get the money, they'll take it eventually, or you're worried about them, some other along and taking it. There's never no fucking winners, but I was involved in everything right from a young kid, from nicking fucking car radios, nicking things. Then the acid house era comes, so with fucking shoplifters, commercial burglars. I've never done scumbag things like burgling people's houses. Not me. I've never done anything like that. Not making it right, saying what I'd done. It's not good making victims. But yes, we've done armed robberies and all these things. And why? Because we were fucking desperate. Listen, I was desperate. I weren't.
It was some kids grow up with that little bit of oomph in them, don't you? If you've got it, you've got it, and you have to learn the hard way before you can let go of it, can't you?
Well,
you know
I think coming where I come from, you know, I'm an inner city kid through and through. I come from Woolwich. Woolwich, anyone knows. Some great people from Woolwich. I'm never down to the area, but when we were kids, we were socially and economically fucking deprived. We had a fucking hard police force. We had the SPG. They were fucking bastards.
They were brutal.
Mate, they'd fit you up. If you was from a certain estate like I was, Woolwich Common, they'd charge you all with the same brush. You're all criminals. You're all villains. When they built Belmarsh, they said you're all going to be in there. They were fucking right. And if whether we were committing crimes or not, and I know a lot of innocent people that were fucking shoved in there. That's how Thatcher invested in our futures. So we were bitter, angry. I couldn't tell you how I felt, so I showed you how I felt.
Yeah.
I was
Did you have
angry
any support from family or anything or was that tough?
I did. Listen, I don't blame the way I turned out on my family. You know, my family are good people. My family, you know, I was the black sheep. I think I must have been fucking adopted because all my family are decent people. You know?
Black sheep's a bit hard, isn't it? You was just a bit more lively, right?
Yeah, I was a little bit lively.
You didn't give a fuck. That's what it was.
Well, I think I had all them conditions that they fucking give out now. ADHD,
HDMI.
I had the fucking lot. But back then it was just ADH fucking clip round the ear.
He's got it high definition.
no one fucking, you know, I was definitely a bit fucking unhinged. There's no, one thing there, because I was getting in trouble from school. When I was 14, 15 years old at school, I stuck a fucking garden fork in someone's leg. And I don't even know why I'd done it. I don't know why I'd done it, you know. I thought I was Alan Titmarsh or something. But I
didn't want to play cricket.
So I was acting out, you know, there was behavioural fucking issues going on. And then it was just a natural progression. Once I started puffing and drinking and the people I was having it with Brendan around the area, we was all active. You looked up to the older kids. I had no fucking role models, you know. My dad, God bless him, my dad was an alcoholic. He died when I was young, so my mum done the best. But I had no male role models.